Welcome. Today I want to talk to you about anger. It's a subject that I've talked about a couple of times in the past, and that's because I keep coming back to it because to me it's such an important topic. Anger has its purpose. It serves a purpose. However, when it's out of balance in life, it can control people. And when anger becomes out of balance and starts to sort of infiltrate areas of your life, like relationships, your career, things like that, then it becomes problematic. When you can't control your anger, it's a problem. So I want to talk today in terms of an image where anger is like an iceberg. So when you see an image of an iceberg pushing through a frozen body of water, imagine Iceland or even Alaska in the frozen times, and you see just the tip of the iceberg that's pushed up through this icy, cold, frigid water. That's anger, that tip of the iceberg that you see. What you don't see is the rest of the iceberg, this part, right? The bigger triangle, deep below the surface of the water. So the tip of the iceberg, that's anger. That's what we call a surface emotion. All the rest of it, this bigger part of it, are the underlying emotions that cause anger to rise to the surface. So let's talk about those underlying emotions today that really cause us to erupt in what looks like anger. Some of those might be, and they're not limited to these, but sadness, disappointment, loneliness, overwhelm, grief, pain, hurt, feeling of embarrassment, helplessness, stress, feeling tired. These can all cause anger. Feeling jealousy, guilt, shame is a big one. You might have more that you can name, and that's great. Feel free to comment and share other emotions that you feel are down here in the bottom of the triangle, causing the anger to come up, like the tip of an iceberg, or even like a volcano would be another analogy we could probably use, right? So, how do we deal with this? How do we better express anger, or really the underlying emotions? How do we get those out and express those? So I'd like to ask you a series of questions. One is, how do you currently deal with anger? Are you hitting walls? Are you screaming? Are you taking your anger out on your loved ones? Do you have road rage? Do you cuss? Do you name call? Do you fight people physically? So you might want to journal these questions, by the way. These are just questions for you to answer for yourself. Question number 2, what emotions were acceptable for you to display growing up? That's a deep question. Think about that. Were you told, oh, suck it up, Johnny, or pull yourself together, Cindy? Think about that. That might be a real tell for why you express sadness as anger or embarrassment as anger, right? So the third question is, how do you show your difficult emotions? How do you express those to people now as an adult? And finally, do you know someone who manages their anger well? And what does that look like? How do they do that? So those are my 4 kind of power questions for you today. And what's really important with anger is to identify your triggers and then to understand really what's underneath those triggers. Observe and ask yourself if there's really an underlying emotion underneath that anger that's really bothering you. Is it really anger, or is it sadness? Is it tiredness? Is it pain? Maybe you're in physical pain, and that physical pain is expressing itself as anger, right? Pain causes irritation. So, go deep within yourself and ask yourself those questions next time the anger surfaces. What's really going on within? And then journal. Journal your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, how you're able to express yourself. What could you maybe do better next time? See if you can practice the pause and respond rather than react when you're in a heightened state of emotion. And then maybe exercise to get out some of the aggressive feelings you're having. Listen to calming music. Maybe just a change of environment. If you're in a space where you're feeling anxious, maybe step outside or step into a different room for a moment. So those are my tips for the day today on understanding anger. It's a very complex emotion. As you can see, it's usually a lot of other things going on that have us displaying anger as a surface emotion. So thank you for staying with me on this topic today. Please share this with anyone that you feel might benefit from a deeper understanding of anger. And in case no one else has told you yet today, you are amazing. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't yet, just hit that subscribe button and join.